everyone! It's that time of year where people are still making resolutions and thinking about what they want to achieve over the next 12 months. Now, I've only made one proper New Year's resolution this year, and that is to learn to knit. Oh, that's a very interesting jumper. Thank you, I knitted it myself. You don't say. The thing is, inevitably, when you start thinking about what you'd like to do over the next 12 months, it makes you start thinking about what you'd like to do in general in life. So I've started thinking about things that I would like to do, not necessarily in 2019, but before I die. Yes, I have started to make a bucket list. And so far, this one is my favourite. The number one thing on my bucket list is something I've wanted to do for years and years and years. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it on this channel before, and that is, I really want to jump out of an aeroplane. I did actually mean with a parachute attached! I've always wanted to do a skydive. Now yes, I mean the kind where you're attached to a professional who actually knows how to skydive, because I think we can all safely agree that if I was given a parachute and told I had to operate it myself, even with all the training in the world, I would plummet to my doom. But I really love the sensation of free falling, and I've always dreamt of being able to fly, so I feel like those two things combining in one experience would be a really amazing thing. In fact, the only thing that has stopped me from doing a skydive so far in my life is the fact that it's ludicrously expensive. And yes, you can do it for charity and raise the money, but I've looked into doing that as well, and you have to pay quite a chunk towards the skydive, plus you have to raise a certain amount to do the skydive, and I'm always a bit stressed out that I wouldn't raise enough or that I wouldn't be able to pay for my bit, and yeah, it all comes down to this. Me rubbing my fingers together in a weird way. Ow, I'm getting friction burn, stop. Number 2 on the list is I would really love to go to Salzburg in Austria and do a tour of the Sound of Music locations. Yep, I'm that much of a musical theatre nerd. The hills are alive! I love that film so much that I can think of nothing better than wearing a dress that looks like it was made out of curtains and running along the road singing Do Re Mi. Although the running does sound like exercise, which I'm not as keen on. But still, I grew up watching The Sound of Music basically over and over because I loved it so much. I wanted to be Liesl because she got to sing 16 Going on 17, which is one of my favourite songs in the film. So I would just love to actually be in the place where Julie Andrews ran down that hill, or, see the building where the Von Trapps lived. I think if I ever managed to do it, I would love to take my mum with me, because not only did my mum introduce me to The Sound of Music, and she really loves that film too, but she introduced me to musicals full stop. My love of musical theatre and musical films definitely comes from my mum, so I can't think of anybody I'd rather go with. Another place I would absolutely love to visit is Switzerland. Not just for the chocolate. Okay, so maybe the chocolate has a small something to do with it? When I was a kid, I did very briefly step over the border between Germany and Switzerland, but I have literally no recollection of that. Well, no, that's a lie. I have a very sketchy recollection of it, which is, not something you can remember fondly in your old age. The reason I really want to go to Switzerland is because it's where my absolute idol spent the last 30 years of her life, and it's where she's buried. I would absolutely love to go and see the place that she lived, and I would really like to go and put some flowers on her grave. Yes, visiting a grave is on my bucket list. Sorry if that's a bit morbid. I like to remind myself of the inevitability of my own death. I think I have mentioned that my idol is Audrey Hepburn before on this channel, but I can't really express how much I love her, and I know it probably sounds a bit strange to talk in such glowing terms about a person I never met and who died when I was 10, but I adore her. We know her as this style icon, as this incredibly beautiful actress who wowed us in films like Breakfast at Tiffany's or Roman Holiday. But when she retired from acting, she used her fame to help those less fortunate than she was. She was going out to places like Ethiopia and visiting sick and starving children right up to the end of her life. And that's amazing. Audrey Hepburn was absolutely everything that I aspire to be in life. She was kind, she was thoughtful, she was graceful, and she's everything that I will never ever be, such as stunningly beautiful, effortlessly stylish, and a very talented dancer. The chorus I sing with are learning On the Street Where You Live from My Fair Lady at the moment, and every time we sing it there's a little mental image in my head of Audrey Hepburn as Eliza Doolittle going, "I washed my face and hands before I come, I did." Yes, I have spent a part of my life trying to learn how to talk like Audrey Hepburn. Not just doing a Mockney accent in that film, but just in general. I want to talk like Audrey. She is my idol. I can't express how much she means to me. It's really weird. I know it's stupid. There will be people who know me, who are friends with me, who'll be like, wow, I knew she liked Audrey Hepburn. I didn't know she was like weird about it. I'm not weird, okay? I'm not weird about it. I just love her. I love her. She was the most beautiful woman who ever lived, and she is my heroine. And if I ever make it to Switzerland and manage to put flowers on her grave, I will absolutely cry my eyes out, but I really want to go and do it. So, yeah. And just in case you're wondering how big a presence Audrey Hepburn is in my life, let me give you a little tour. So, first of all, I have a coaster by my bed. Almost too pretty to put a bottle of water on, but sometimes it does have to be done, sorry. And then over here, and then behind my mirror there is my Audrey Hepburn DVD collection. And inside this wardrobe there is a massive movie poster for Breakfast at Tiffany's, which I just don't have the room for in my bedroom, and I wish I did because it's really funky and cool and I really want it on my wall. So one day when I get a house of my own, it's going to have pride of place somewhere. Speaking of things I can't fit on my walls, yep, there's one in the corridor too. I've only got one other thing on my bucket list that I can think of at the moment. I feel like the bucket list is going to get quite long the more I ruminate on things. But for the time being, the only other thing on it is a bit of a strange one. I want to learn to ice skate backwards. I've really not been ice skating that many times. It's probably less than 10 times in my life, but I've really loved it every time I've gone, and it's something I kind of took to fairly instantly. The only time I've ever fallen over is on one of those fake ice rinks that are made up of something that looks like chopping board material. It's nothing like ice. And for me, when I stood on it, it was like, what is this? It doesn't feel like ice. It doesn't move like ice. Oh my God! But on actual ice, the times that I've been ice skating, I've really enjoyed it, and I found that I could go quite fast around the rink, and I started being able to sort of lift a leg up precariously or do a little spin. I mean, very slowly. It's not that impressive to see, but I don't tend to fall down, and for somebody as clumsy as me, that's quite an achievement. But the one thing that I've never been able to teach myself on the ice is skating backwards. And I watch Dancing on Ice on a Sunday and I'm like, they're all doing it! Why can't I? So yeah, one day I am gonna get someone to teach me or just teach myself. Maybe I'll watch some YouTube tutorials or something. I'm gonna learn to go backwards on ice skates. That's all I can think of on my bucket list for the time being, but like I said, I reckon it's going to get longer, so maybe I will do an update to this video one day, particularly if I actually manage to tick anything off my bucket list. I mean, let's face it, I'll probably vlog it if I do. What's on your bucket list? What things would you really like to do one day before your inevitable death? Sorry, wow, brought the tone down there. Let me know in the comments what's on your bucket list, and I will talk to you next week. In the meantime, if you missed last week's video, it's over there. If you would like to subscribe, you can click on my floaty head, and feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'm going to go rest my throat, which I am finally on medication for. Hooray! See you next week. Bye!